Hello, my name is Kevin Robinson. This is my process speech. I've decided to give my process speech on how to conserve water in a typical household. For me, I'm a master plumber. That's what I've done by trade for 27 years of my career. As you can imagine, being a plumber, water is everything to me and my career and to my family. Some of the reasons I'd want to conserve water. I enjoy having my kids, my grandkids come over. We play outside in the water. I drink water. We bathe in water. Everything we do revolves around water. So for me, it's very important that we conserve water. The U.S. Geological Survey, or the USGS, put out a survey showing where all of the world's water is. So if you think about the world having 100% of the water, of our world's water, 96%, almost 96.5% of that water is in the oceans, seas, and bays. So that's where the bulk of our water is. And as we know, that's not drinking water, water that we get coming into our house. 1.74% of that water is locked away in the polar ice caps, glaciers, and permanent snow, other areas that we can't get to melt down to have it for water. It's just locked away for us. There is groundwater. There's 1.69% of that remaining water is groundwater. That's the fresh and saline waters that we use to drink. The fresh water we drink, the saline water we really can't drink. Out of that 1.69%, 9.3 of that is saline. So out of the drinkable and usable water that we have in the world, it really breaks down to 0.76% is all the water in the world that humans have to live on. So we need to protect our water. We need to find ways to conserve water. Here in Texas, we're going through a drought, and we've been in a drought for quite some time now. Our lake, and I'll show you a picture here at the end of this, our lake that we used to drink water the entire time I was growing up, go out skiing, boating, fishing, playing, having a good weekend on, is now gone. We don't have that lake anymore, and that lake supplied Amarillo, Lubbock, and some other surrounding towns here in the Panhandle. Important reasons to conserve water, and it's easy to do. There's a lot of simple and easy tips and tricks that we can go through, and I'm going to take you through some of them that we can go through for everybody to conserve water. One is to check for the faucets and pipes. Make sure we don't have any leaks, drips. Even a small drip or a small leak at the time doesn't seem like much, but if you put a bucket under it, a 1-gallon bucket under there, I think you'd be real surprised how fast that bucket will fill up. Another one is check for toilets for leaks. Sometimes your flapper ball, it gets old, it's just a rubber seal, and it'll get a little bit warped, and it'll allow water to pass through it and go into your bowl. The easiest way to check for leaks there is just add some food coloring to the back of your tank where the water is, mix it up, and then just leave the toilet alone. If you start to see toilet coming up or colored water coming up in your toilet bowl, then you know you have a leak somewhere. If it doesn't leak, flush it a couple of times, rinse it out, and move on. That's another easy one to check, just to see if your toilet does have a leak. If you're in an older home and you have an older toilet, excuse me, and you have an older toilet, it's usually flushed anywhere from 3 gallons to 4 gallons of water every time you flush. Where today's toilets, some of the newer toilets, are under a gallon, so that's quite a bit of water. It's one of the ways that we can cut that water waste down, and I've heard of different ways. You can take a big Ziploc bag, fill it with water, hang it over the tank of the toilet, putting the lid on top of it to hold it in place, and when your toilet fills up, that water in the Ziploc bag will displace the water that should be going in there. So it'll cut down on your water use. It might be a half gallon or so, but every little bit of water helps. Some of the other ones that we can use is turn the water off while you're brushing your teeth. People think, man, it doesn't take that long to brush my teeth. Well, if you're running water for about 30 seconds to a minute while you're brushing your teeth, that can be anywhere from 2 to 5 gallons of water. So if you take the population of Amarillo, we're right at 200,000. If everybody just wets their toothbrush, turns the water back off, we could be saving on average 200,000 to 400,000 gallons of water a day just by everybody turning that off. So it does make a huge difference. Don't let faucets run while you clean your vegetables. When you're cleaning your vegetables, clean them up, turn the water off, get them wet, scrub them down, and go back to them and clean them up again. When you're outside cleaning off your driveway, don't be doing that with a water hose. Don't wash it down. You could do it with a broom. It's just as easy. It may take a little more elbow grease, but we're conserving a lot of water instead of using a water hose to do that. Don't water the gutter. Make sure your sprinklers are adjusted. Make sure you're not sprinkling on a windy day where the water is going to blow all over the sidewalks out into the streets, where that water gets wasted. If it's out in the streets and gutters, then it's not necessarily sprinkling your yard and doing any good at that point. One of the other sites that I want to go over is, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, the U.S. population has grown 30% in the last 50 years. But public demands on the water system has risen by 209%. So as our population expands, our water demands on our water grow exponentially. So we've got to start finding some ways to cut down on water. Beyond those simple tricks and tips, they do have now high efficiency toilets, or HETs. Some of those are single flush toilets that get down to anywhere from a gallon to a gallon, 1.6 gallons of water per flush. A dual flush toilet, which I've put in a lot of my homes now, it's actually two different levers. One lever will flush about a half of a gallon of water for urine, no solids. If we have solids, then there's a second flush, and it goes anywhere from a gallon to 1.6, usually about 1.28 gallons of water to flush the solids down. There's a pressure assist toilet, which that one has a tank built into the back of it that keeps the water under pressure, so every time you flush, it will help that water go on down, pass through everything, flushes it out pretty quick. You might want to watch out for small shoes, toys, because as a plumber, I've dug all of those out of there as well. One last thing I want to show you that I said I would, and that's my lake here in Amarillo up in the Texas Panhandle. This was Lake Meredith. Let me see if I can get it in there really good. Lake Meredith, this picture was taken in 1999, really at the beginning of our drought. And I want you to focus on this island and this little dent right here. This is a boat ramp going off behind there so you could get out into the lake. In this area here, that was at 50 feet deep at that point. In 2011, this is our lake. Same picture. Here's the island. There's the dent for the boat ramp going off the back. Needless to say, water is an important commodity to me, my family, and hopefully to you and your family. Hopefully this will help you save some water. Use some of these tips and tricks, and have a great weekend.